What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. I forgot to turn this light on. Everybody calls me CiottiFPV, or just Ciotti. Welcome to Sunday. I was just out flying. That's what that was. It's one of my favorite spots here in Atlanta that I haven't flown since 2020, actually. And it was really cool to get back out there and fly. Also see the fellas. A bunch of the guys were out. Haven't flown. That's the first time I've flown freestyle in a few months. Man, I was out of practice. I'm very used to Cinewhoops, which are like 5 degrees up tilt, which is basically no up tilt. So you don't really have to cross coordinate all that much, if at all. And yeah, I was sloppy. Good God, I was flying very sloppy, but super fun. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get out and fly freestyle more often now that things have slowed down a little bit. Apache Smoke Wounded Sniper was first. Espander was next. Alley-oop, Patio Patterson, Gary Higgins, Jumby rather, Brandon's Baked Beans, Matthew Vega is in the house, Patio Patterson, Whiff Waff, Frank Nicholas, CH3FPV, Robert Garcelone, Ram Jam, T-Bird is here, Espander again, CMYKFPV, Remy Tim, I Hippie, Win Jumby again, Martin Win, FPV Trucker, Quadzimoto, Yellow Captain, Josh Robinson, Brandon's Baked Beans again, Mr. Huggy, EBR FPV, Enema is here, sorting through the repeats. I think I got everybody. Doom239. If I didn't read your name, sucks to be you. If you want to talk directly to me, all you gotta do is type CiottiFPV like Alley-Oop did here. You don't have to type the @ symbol, but as long as you type CiottiFPV and spell it correctly, it will light up in orange and I'll know that you're talking to me. Or you can do a super chat if you want to talk to me and support the madness that is being a full-time FPV content creator, pilot, lunatic, gangly shit, donkey, weird man, Santa Claus wannabe, Halloween celebrate. Happy Halloween, motherfuckers! The folks that have tagged me so far are Alley-Oop, he said what's up. Win Jumby said waiting. T-Bird says, what's up? CMYK says, yo, yo. FPV Trucker says, what's crackin'? Quadzimoto says, what's up, pal? Yella says, hello, CiottiFPV, and all the other amazing people in the chat. YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up to find my fucking place. Doom239 says, what's up? So does Jester. So does Darkman. Scott FPV says, why is my flight controller reading my 4S batteries as 3S, and how do I fix it? Help, please. Sounds to me like the current, the chip that reads the current is effed up. Here's how you calibrate it. Hold on, let me plug in here. All right. So what you're gonna do is hook up, take a flight battery. Hook up a multimeter to it to get the most accurate possible reading of what voltage your flight battery is at. And then you're gonna plug it into the quad and hook the quad up to Betaflight and come on into Betaflight here. And then you're gonna go into the power and battery tab. All right, power and battery. What? And then you're gonna look in here at what this voltage is telling you. And you're going to use this scale to get this correct. I'm willing to bet that this voltage, so this is, I don't have a battery hooked up right now, which is why it says 0 volts, but if I were to hook up a battery, it would read a voltage. And for you, I assume that this is going to be wrong. I guess maybe these could have gotten screwed up here too. Make sure these are correct. Make sure your minimum cell voltage is 3.4, maximum is 4.3, and warning is 3.6. But yeah, I have a feeling that this voltage meter is going to be incorrect, and you just need to move this scale up and down a little bit to correct it. It corrects it in real time. So you add a point to the scale, you know, go up on the scale, hit tab. Go up on the scale again, hit tab. Go up on the scale again, hit tab. Each time you do it, it's going to adjust this. And yeah, you just want to adjust it until it's right. What was that at? 110? There we go. So yeah, I think that I can't think of anything else that could be causing that problem, Scott. It should be one of those things that I just showed you there. If it's not, I don't know. I don't know if that's not it. I don't know. Kyle C is a noob. Thanks for coming over from more than likely Joshua's stream. Good to have you, Kyle. Espander says, clock has changed after work is no longer possible. Fucking hate winter. How are you doing, CiottiFPV? I'm doing good, man. Did we lose an hour last night or is it tonight? Whatever. Yeah, I've already been noticing the sun going down earlier. Sucks. Frank Nicholas dropping the link to CiottiFPV.com. Thank you, Frank. This is my full-time job. If you'd like to support me, the best way to do that, is to head over to CiottiFPV.com. The thing over there that helps me the most is the very first link, which is a link to Patreon. $3 whole a month, you can come on board, get access to audio versions of these live streams, secret Patreon-only streams, a YouTube playlist for patrons that's got like 80-something unreleased things in it, some flight footage, some raw stuff, some half-done edits, some secret streams, things like that. You're going to get email, Facebook, and Discord notifications when I stream by joining the Patreon, and there's all kinds of good shit going on. I've written a bunch of articles that are over there to help you PID tune, filter tune, troubleshoot motor heat and too many vibrations, all kinds of good stuff. There's also a whole bunch of affiliate links over there. If you ever find yourself doing an order on Amazon, GetFPV, FPV Crate, Oh My God's website, and a bunch of others, if you hit my affiliate links before you check out, I'll get free money, 1 to 6% of your total shopping cart. You can still do like coupon codes and free shipping and all that stuff. Has nothing to do with that. There's also a Fiverr store. Let me help you fly better, build better, tune better. There is an Etsy store with some very fun stickers and hardware and all kinds of nonsense over there. And then there's a Teespring store with beautiful shirts like this. CMYK-FPV nailed it with this design. This is the Hoonigan Kill All Tires artwork, but with carbon chains switched up for tires. If you need graphic design, hit up CMYK-FPV. He will hook you up just like he's hooked me up a bunch. Dozer FPV says, new to your channel. Thanks for coming over, Dozer. Make yourself at home, ask a question or two, throw an insult my way, whatever makes you happy. Gamma Gonad says, so did you finally get the ducts I've been wanting for you to try out for what seems like a year now? I think so, Gamma Gonad. Let's do a little bit of... shout out to Mighty Car Mods. That's their little thing that I've just stolen. They're the best car channel on YouTube. If you don't go over there and support them, then they might come and attack me with shovels. I hope not. Probably not. Brian Ladmiral coming through with a box of 3D printed things. Very, very, very cool of you, Brian. Much appreciated. He printed me a bunch of the Thingiverse ducts for the Cinesplore. This one here, as you can see by these little guys, this is a super low profile duct, which is going to be kind of cool. Really looking forward to flying these. These are actually what I'm going to put directly onto the Cinesplore over here when we finish it up, when we finish up the ESC swap. So that's really awesome. I cannot wait to see how these fly. And then he also sent me, these are very, very similar to the FPV Cycle V3 ducts. I have bought 2 sets of the FPV Cycle V3 ducts and broken all of them so far. So I have a feeling that these and these are going to suffer the same fate, but this is just a good kind of test to see what these fly like. The standard Cinesplore ducts that I've actually really had good luck with are these molded ones. These are called the Cloud 149 ducts, and I really like them. They're very tall, which makes the Cinesplore very slow, which kind of works because it's a Cinewoop, you know? Like, most of the time you're flying a Cinewoop slowly, and then you're going to speed ramp if you need it. But there are situations where it would be nice to carry a little bit of extra speed, a little bit of extra cruising speed with the Cinesplore. So that's what these 2 ducts will definitely do for me. The fact that I can't bump into anything with these ducts without them exploding is annoying, admittedly. But I don't know, maybe Brian printed these in a different way that'll be a little bit more durable than the FPV Cycle V3 ducts. Thanks a lot, Brian. This is awesome, man. This is much, much appreciated. Oh, and here's the comparison of all 3. So what the easiest way to think about the height of the duct is, like, the taller the duct, the less aerodynamic the Cinesplore, the less aerodynamic the Cinewoop, the less aerodynamic Jesus fuck balls. The less aerodynamic the Cinewhoop. To some extent, the worse the flight performance, but also, yeah, it's mainly with on the Cinesplore frame with the 2004 motors, the 4S850s, the 20x20 stack. The flight performance is damn good, even with the worst of the ducts. So realistically, the height of the duct is just how fast you want to cruise. With this big tall duct, to go more than like, I don't know, let's say like 15 miles an hour. I don't know. I'm just. That might be accurate. It might not. In order to go faster than that with these tall ducts, you gotta like really put the nose down, and then you're kind of looking straight down. So like, if that's the shot that you're looking for, like, so for example, I had to I used the Cinesplore to chase a car down a street at one point, and I was like looking down into the car. I told them to only go like 15, 20 miles an hour, but they ended up like boogieing down the street. So the shot that I got was like pretty much looking straight down on the car, which was actually kind of cool. Like, it kind of worked. But with this low profile duct, for example, I would not have had to look, I wouldn't have had to put so much nose down on it. I would have been able to fly around more like, you know, more like that to get more of a rear profile of the car, more of like a trailing shot rather than what I got, which was pretty much a top-down shot. So yeah, that's really the easiest way to think about the height of the ducts. Brian even put the little brass bastards in, which was just super amazing. You guys are far too good to me. And Brian also printed me one of these little guys, which is great to have for the Cinesplore in case I ever put the little foot back on the GoPro. I can use this guy. So Brian, dude, thank you so much. This is incredibly kind of you to send this over. Very, very, very cool. This is going to definitely help with testing. Hey, here's the other super exciting thing on the Cinesplore front. CiottiFPV, you know, think whatever you want about the falling out between him and Bob Ruge. I'm not going to get in between that. CiottiFPV is now selling Cinesplore. I mean, they're not Cinesplore ducts, but they're ducts that work on the Cinesplore that are molded from the HQ prop material, which is like nigh on invincible. These are really nice. I've put a couple batteries through these. So again, as a comparison point, here's what the standard Cloud 149 duct looks like, and here's what the CiottiFPV ducts look like. So as you can see, they're nowhere near as high. They're kind of somewhere in between the height of the Cloud 149 duct and the height of the V3 ducts. But yeah, they're in this HQ prop material, which is just fantastic. They do fit, so with the Brother Hobby VY 2004s, which are low, this is a very low flat motor. The propeller just barely touches, you're not going to be able to see it, but the props just barely touched it, but they rubbed themselves in on the very first battery. So that was totally fine. I was a little bit worried at first, but yeah, the props spin after one battery. The props were spinning totally fine, which is really, really nice. And yeah, they're same thing that I was just talking about. They're a little bit faster. They might be a little louder, weirdly. I swear, it might not be. I need to back it. Once I get this other Cinewhoop back up in the air, I'll be able to back these with these two rigs. Because they're on very similar motors, same propellers, same pretty much everything. So that'll be cool. But yeah, the performance was great. The rig definitely cruised a little bit faster. Doom239 says, why is the live button not working? What's that mean? Stream is up, right? I don't even know what the live button is. Yeah, a little bit more cruising speed. That's pretty much it. I didn't really notice any other differences. But yeah, I'm really happy with these. I think it's interesting, right? The tall ducts, it really makes the rig very controllable and very, for flying like indoors and around talent and stuff like that, these cloud ducts are really nice. But then if you need to like get the rig kind of moving, it makes life a little bit difficult. These guys make it easier to get the rig moving, but I'm afraid that it's going to be a little bit less accurate to fly around people in like really slow situations. So we'll see, because it's basically giving you a little bit less leeway. With these, you have a lot of leeway because it's so slow. It's almost like adding expo to the speed that the rig travels in a way. So yeah, with these tall ducts, like, man, you can just punch this thing through tiny little gaps, and it's really, really nice. So I don't know, what I actually think that I might end up doing is get another set of these CiottiFPV ducts just to have in case I break one of these. So and then one of these Cinewhoops, one of these Cinesplores, will have the tall ducts, and one of them will have the HQ ducts. And basically what I think it'll be is that I have two GoPro mounts for the Cinesplores. One of them is 5 degrees, the other one's 15 degrees. I think the Cinesplore with the 15-degree mount is going to get the faster CiottiFPV ducts, and then the 5-degree Cinesplore will potentially get these ducts. All that being said, one of the main things I love about the Cinesplore is how easy the ducts are to swap out. It's 1, 2, 3 screws that don't even go into standoffs or anything. So I could just bring all 3 sets of the ducts, the tall ones, the medium ones, and then the really small ones. And then, yeah, when I get there, it's like, what shot are you looking for? Oh, well, it's all inside a house. Okay, great. Cloud ducts. It's inside the house, but then we want you to dive off the balcony and fall down the front of the building. Okay, that'd probably be these guys, the HQ ducts, versus like, oh, we want you to chase a car down the street, but then get really close to the talent when they stop at the red light, and that would be these guys, right? So, yeah. No real need to like lock one of the, lock this rig into these ducts. The PID tune didn't need to change. Nothing really needed to be adjusted there. So yeah, more options for the Cinesplore is a really good thing, since, in my opinion, this is the best of the Cinewhoop frames. It's been absolutely amazing. Dan636 with a $10 super chat. He says, thanks for your help the other day on Fiverr. You're certainly welcome, Dan. It was my pleasure to be able to help you out there. Message me on Facebook or Instagram at CiottiFPV if you have any other questions. Sometimes I'm kind of shitty with the Fiverr. Fiverr is not in my like they send me an email. So like I'll get your message on Fiverr eventually, but sometimes it'll take me a day or two. If you hit me on Instagram or Facebook, I'm usually a little quicker than that. Martin Wynn says, Newbie Advice, Newbie Advice, become patron and get in the Discord for nearly 24-hour advice. Yeah, very true. The folks that hang out in the chat, the community of people who've kind of latched on to me are pretty fucking wonderful. Really smart group of people that are kind of into the... So I don't talk a lot on these streams. This is for the new people. I don't talk a lot... Why does it look like shit? Because it's daytime. I don't talk a lot about like super basic stuff. I tend to... Joshua kind of has that locked up, right? Like if you want to learn how to get up in the air, Joshua and Remy Tim actually... they're really good at that. I tend to like talk more about like sort of more advanced kind of stuff, I guess. I don't know, it sounds a little douchey saying that, but yeah, I'm just not great with like the basic get up in the air stuff. I'm better with the, you know, once you're up in the air, and you want to refine the way that your rig flies, or refine the way that you build the rig, or the way that you fly or edit or stuff like that. That's what I'm really good with. And yeah, the group of people that have kind of latched onto that enjoy watching me and supporting me, are a great group of folks, and they hang out over in the Discord and help each other out. And it's a really cool community of really smart people that many of which have been into this hobby for a long time. So yeah, as a newbie, I would have fucking killed for access to a group of people like you guys in the chat. So yeah, for any folks that have just come over from Joshua's stream, for 10 whole cents a day, which is what $3 a month is, to jump onto my Patreon, you can get access to a great group of people that'll help you out. Really good call, Martin. Gamma Gonad says the low profile ducts are much more durable. I've never broken one. Very cool. I like to hear that. These that Brian printed are... Brian, is that you? I can't keep track of your guys' YouTube names, your Instagram names, your Facebook names, your fucking ballsack names. Is that you, Brian? Gamma Gonad? I don't think it is. I think Brian Ladmiral is Brian Ladmiral in the chat. Scott FPV says, thank you, I got it calibrated. Nice, Scott. I had a feeling that would be it. What was wrong, Scott? Was it just the calibration? Was it just the scaling? Michael Blade says, hey, happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to all you motherfuckers as well. I hope you get lots of candy and rot your goddamn teeth out and die tonight. Don't drive drunk, though, you fucks. Don't go to a party and drive drunk. I will hunt your asses down and beat you with a wet noodle. It'll take forever. Chris said, I ordered a Cinelog 25. What can I expect? The best prop guarded rig available, I think, is the only real way for me to answer that. This is what the Cinelog 35 looks like on the brand new GemFan 5-blade propellers that I got for it. I am packaging this up and mailing this to Joshua tomorrow. I thought Joshua had his own one of these coming. I didn't realize that he had his tester unit sent to me first. So that was incredible. I mean, it was cool of him to have one of these sent to me. The fact that it was his is even more incredible. But yeah, I got to fly another couple batteries on this. I think I got enough footage to actually make a little review. This is pretty goddamn impressive. I don't know. I feel like the Cinelog 30 would be the sweet spot, or the 25. I really wish they made a Cinelog 20, because I'm looking for something just like this to carry around the Insta360 Go 2. Yeah, we're going at you are Brian Latimer. Okay, cool. Got it. Yeah, I think a Cinelog 20 could potentially be the best platform to carry an Insta360 Go 2 in like a cinematic sense. But I don't know. It's what I really love about the Cinelogs is how durable they are. Like, this fucking thing is bomb-proof, man. Which is really, really cool. The problem with that is it makes it a little heavy. I'm looking for a lightweight rig to carry the Insta360 Go 2. So I don't know if a Cinelog 20 would be light enough. But this 35 is really interesting. If you want to, like, go real fast... Not real fast, but... I think the Cinelog 30 is the sweet spot. So I put a... I had this fully loaded down Hero 7 550 MAH 6S, and it's got 2004 motors and it just makes a little bit too much power, and like I have it limited down to 80% power, and I have a pretty aggressive throttle curve on it, and it's a little challenging to like maintain altitude when compared to like a proper Cinewhoop. But if you put this thing hauls ass, and this thing is going to be able to do dives and shit like that because it's a lot more aerodynamic, right? Like think of it cutting through the wind versus think of this cutting through the wind, right? Like obviously a big difference. I don't know if I don't know how comfortable I would feel flying this around Talent, because like I don't know, it's like the propellers are really close to the edge here, right? Like the amount of protection that this offers versus this is like a whole different kind of thing. So I still don't know. Like it flies great, and like for your first rig, this might actually be really, really good. But for me, I don't really understand. I don't know what I would use this for. I could be wrong though. This could be the end-all be-all Cinewhoop. Like maybe I should get rid of these and buy a bunch of these because it will go faster. Like chasing a car down the road, this is gonna do a better job. It's really fucking strong, which is great. You do have to run it off of an AIO, which is a fucking nightmare. But technically, this is 20x20 mounting down here, so you could technically put a proper 20x20 stack and just mount it on the bottom plate here, and then it would fly even better. You'd have to pull out the well, you could probably stack it on top of the Caddx Vista. But yeah, I don't know about the Cinelog 35. If we were carrying a heavier camera, I'd be all about this. And the Hero 8, I'm sorry, the Hero 9 and 10, they are heavier than the Hero 7, but they're not that much heavier. Like, I'm talking like if we were carrying like a 250 gram camera, this would be the jam. I don't know. This just, to me, it doesn't have enough subtlety to do like legit Cinewhoop work. But it's a very interesting mix between a Cinewhoop and like a full-blown 5-inch rig. So yeah, really interesting. If I was gonna buy a Cinelog, I would buy a Cinelog 30, just because we don't really have the payload that would benefit from this 3.5-inch version. And yeah, like I said, I just found this to have too much power, and it's harder to, because of that, it's harder to really nail your elevation and not have that elevation bounce that sticks out like a sore thumb to me, because I have impossible standards. I also noticed that this soft mounting setup is not the greatest. There were some, I still have to look at the footage again, but it was doing some weird shit. I mean, the Cinesplore with the hard-mounted TPU mount is the way to go. And I mean, yeah, I could do that with this. I could just crank these screws all the way down and eliminate the bobbliness from this soft-mounted platform here. So, like, yeah, if I were to keep this, that's probably what I would do, is just crank these down to hard mount this. I already have them cranked down a bunch. It was way, way, way looser and way worse right out of the box. So, but yeah, other than that, I don't really know what else to say about the Cinelog 35. I'll be very interested to see what Joshua thinks about it. I think that'll be pretty interesting. All right, more stuff. Come on. Oh, that's Stan. This is the box from Stan. Matt, I'm pretty sure it's Matt sent me these. Some TPU, Insta360 Go 2 TPU mounts for the 250 and for the Ripsqueak. I'm really, really, really excited to try these out. So far, these mounts have already saved the Insta360 Go 2's life. I put the Insta360 Go 2, the replacement one now. I put this up in the air on the 250 and crashed it again, of course, on the very first battery. And the TPU took some. The TPU took some damage. The light is kind of blowing it out, but there's some scrapes on the top of the whatever. There's a bunch of scrapes and shit on the top of the top edge of the TPU here. But the Insta360 Go 2 survived, so that was awesome. Also, 250 on an AIO, miserable. Just like every other AIO that I've ever put into a rig. It just doesn't fly good. It just doesn't fly as good as a 20x20 stack. Too many vibes are getting to the gyro. Have you guys ever heard, am I crazy? I feel like I remember hearing somewhere that the big problem, one of the big problems with the AIOs is electrical noise. Have you guys ever heard that? Is electrical noise what causes these AIOs to fly like a bag of assholes? I feel like maybe I've heard that before. I spent a bunch of time making sure none of the wires were close to the flight controller, and just I made sure everything was neat and tidy, and I've done a bunch of work with... unfortunately, this AIO does not have black box, so I'm kind of limited as to what I can do, but I have added filtering, I've removed filtering, I've moved the PID tune up and down. I've done all the things that I do to get rigs flying well, and this thing refuses. With the 20x20 stack, it flew absolutely beautiful. It was arguably the best flying micro I've ever built. So I know that the frame is good to go. I did switch the motors. This is the first time that these are on these Aerolite motors, but these motors are fresh. They spin beautifully smooth. So I really don't think that it's the motors. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is the exact same experience that I've had every fucking time that I've put an AIO into a rig. It just gets too many vibes or too much noise or just garbage. It's just getting garbage in the gyro, and then the filtering just can't handle it. There's just not enough filtering in the world to handle it, even with RPM filters, even with dynamic notch, and yeah, like what the fuck. So I don't know, man. I'm not really happy about this because I spent a bunch of time putting this AIO in here. I'm actually really tempted to do a giveaway with this rig so that somebody else can get it. They're gonna get a good camera, a good frame, good motors, good RunCam hybrid, good RXSR, good VTX, and all they need to do is swap the AIO out for one of these new expensive ones that apparently here's the thing, right? Tommy and a bunch of other people have built 250s on the iFlight Beast AIO, and they fly fine. In Tommy's that's where I heard it, Mackenzie. On Tommy's tuning video for the 250, he pushes the filters up very similar to the way that I do, and he's totally fine. So, yeah, I'm not really willing to... I'm not really willing to spend $90, $100 on an AIO for this rig, because this is not a frame that I'm gonna like. As I've mentioned over and over and over again, I try to fly the same thing over and over and over again. What that means for me personally is glide 5-inch builds that are usually up here, but they're all blown up. Glide 5-inch builds, Cinesplore 3-inch Cinewhoops, and I've had to pick with a micro, and I've pretty much chosen the Ripsqueak 3-inch frame. I don't want the 250 to be a fourth thing that I fly, because it does fly differently. I've kind of chosen the Ripsqueak for the 3-inch micro thing. So yeah, I don't know. Let me get caught up on chat though, because you guys are saying good things. CiottiFPV says it was scaling. Thank you again. You're certainly welcome. I wonder how that scaling got off. That's interesting. Oh wait, no, I gotta go farther back. Farther back. Darkman says, at your recommendation, I bought 6 packs of the Dow 3028s, half of them in the yellow, green, half in blue. Looking forward to trying them now. You're gonna love them, Darkman. They're fantastic. Those props are a big reason that I'm not gonna go with this frame, and I'm gonna go with the Ripsqueak, because those props are phenomenal. Word FPV says, when flying a Cinewhoop in angle mode and you're up high trying to come straight down, leveled out for the shot, what's the best way without slowly moving forward to avoid wobble? Take the ducts off, basically, Word. The ducts are what's causing the aerodynamic chaos. Also, I would say get it out of angle mode, because in angle mode it's not going to run a regular PID loop. It's also not going to run things like air mode. So yeah, I mean, angle mode itself is going to be really hurting you. But yeah, you're going to have problems with that camera movement on all Cinewhoops. Flying a lightweight Cinewhoop on like good ducts with a good matched motor and prop combo, like what I've got here, is going to help a little bit. But that, I mean, there are limitations to Cinewhoops, aerodynamic limitations that you gotta just kind of, there's nothing, you gotta just sort of work around it. You gotta work around the aerodynamic problems with a ducted frame. I wish I had a better answer for you, and the answer kind of blows. But ScottFPV says it was scaling. Thank you again. FPV Trucker says, what would cause correct voltage but MAH counts double speed? Good question, FPV Trucker. So it's the current. So there's the scale on the voltage, and then there's a scale on the current. And the scale on the current is what's incorrect for you. What I'll do is I'll put MAH used in my OSD, and at the end of a battery, I come in when the battery is resting at like 3.5 at a hover, and I'll take a look at the MAH used, and then I'll change the current scaling in the OSD, and then I'll fly another battery. And if it got better, great, I know I'm going in the right direction. If it got worse, I know I need to go in the opposite direction. And at the end of every battery, I'll just look at the MAH used and then change the scale a little bit. And eventually, after like a dozen batteries, you'll have the scale pretty much good to go, where your MAH used is coming up with whatever your battery MAH is at the end of the pack. And then that's a really good, kind of backwards way, but a really good way of setting your current scale to give you the proper amp readings, and also to make sure that your MAH doesn't go a million miles an hour. Yeah, I also have some Insta360 Go 2 footage that I can show you guys. Unfortunately, it was on this rig with the AIO that was flying like a bag of assholes, so it's not great footage, but it's footage nonetheless. And it also strikes me that like most people would actually, so the motors run totally cool. Most people would be actually happy with the way that this thing is flying. But I have impossible standards, and yeah, this is not absolutely 100% perfectly smooth all the time. which is, if I can't get a rig to that point pretty quickly, I just kind of give up, because in the past, I've never really had good luck spending 20 hours filter tuning, PID tuning, to basically what amounts to putting Band-Aids on. So this rig in its current form is a bad mechanical system. And that is down to the AIO. The AIO is causing a bad mechanical system. With enough work, we could tune the filters and the PIDs to the point where this flies pretty decent. But it's never going to fly great because the mechanical system is flawed, right? And I just don't have any interest in that. So, yeah. I really thought, I was like, man, I was giving AIOs a bad rap. I was being too hard on them. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to build it super clean. It's going to be fine. I have a capacitor on here. I did all the things. None of the wires are even close to the gyro. None of the wires are touching the board. Everything is beautiful. I gave it like every possible chance to fly decent, and it fucked me. So, yeah. I don't know. Gamma Gona. Oh, we got that. Scott Gillen says, "What's up, cousin? Really appreciate you and your channel. You're a regular guy that knows some shit and passes your knowledge on. Great karma." Thanks, brother. Yeah, that's it's actually a really good, like, quick little 2-paragraph description of the stream. Knows some shit, regular person, passes knowledge on, does things to build my karma up in the world. Does things to build his karma up in the world. I love it. Chris says, "I got 3 5-inches on the way for when I can fly." Very cool, Chris. Remy Tim with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, "You've been asking for a year for a 50-gram HD camera." I know, right? How do you feel now that we have exactly that from DJI? What's your perfect drone to carry? Thanks for your knowledge on micros. Thanks again, Daniel. Yeah, the DJI Action 2. Hey, I finally, it's been a long time, but I watched a Rotor Riot video the other day. Their review of the DJI Action 2 is pretty good. You should also watch F-Stopper's review. F-Stoppers is a group of camera guys that actually used to be in Charleston when I was in Charleston and into photography. Now they moved to Puerto Rico. But yeah, F-Stoppers reviewed the DJI Action 2 very harshly, actually, which is really good. He compares it to the camera on the iPhone 13 Pro, which is actually a really good comparison because, you know, like, we have video cameras in our cell phones that are really good, that are in our pocket all the time. Why the hell would most people need the DJI Action 2? And that's basically what he looks at, and at the end of the day, he's like, it's worse. Like, it's worse than the iPhone 13. Some people said, oh, well, that's an unfair comparison. The iPhone 13 Pro is $1,000, and the DJI Action 2 is $400 or $300, whatever the hell it is. But sure, the iPhone, right? The iPhone is $1,000 because it's a phone and it's a laptop, and it also has it, right? Like, the camera in the iPhone is not $1,000, right? So yeah, that was a really, really good review. Man, I for me, I'm blown away by it. For us, I think it's unbelievable. The little magnetic setup scares the shit out of me, because when we start bashing those things, God knows how that's gonna hold up. the fact that you can't just put an SD card directly into it and then take that SD card out is scary. Because if we go out and get a bunch of great footage and smash the shit out of this thing and parallelogram it like we tend to do, it's probably not going to hook up to the little external screen battery thing to be able to get the footage off of it. And I feel like the footage is going to be stuck on the damn thing. It is going to be sold at Best Buy, though, so on one hand, who gives a flying fuck what the durability is like? Just bring it back 100 times. Man, it's like 56 grams, which is outrageous. I mean, it is now light enough where you can easily move it around with a 4-inch rig, right? Like a 4-inch micro apex with that DJI camera on it is one hell of a interesting sort of proposition. So I mean, that's what I would do. If maybe when I get a DJI Action 2, I think I'll build it on a 4-inch rig because it's the right weight, it's the right payload for a 4-inch rig. So what I would probably do is a 4-inch rig with like 2004s. Actually, I would more than likely use these Axis Power 2004s because they're a little bit higher KV, and they've been getting some really good durability. I've been hearing some really good things durability-wise with these Axis 2004 3750 kV motors. I think that I would put them on a Apex micro frame. The 250 is great, but it's designed very specifically to try to carry a 5-inch prop and be under 250 grams, so the arms are really skinny. It's by design. If you're going to then load this thing up with another 56 grams, the arms are just going to become too skinny, in my opinion. Whereas the Apex Micro, I think is a much better idea. Yeah, and so now you've got a rig that has very similar flight characteristics to a full-blown 600 plus gram 5-inch rig. A little bit less speed, right? I mean, it's going to bridge the gap between 5-inch and 3-inch, and it's going to be a much safer. You're probably looking at like 450 grams all up would be my guess. Maybe a little bit less than that. And that's going to be a lot safer than 600 plus grams if you smash somebody in the face with it. So yeah, man, the DJI Action 2 on a 4-inch rig is a really interesting, like, a little bit less dangerous, and it's going to fly better than a 3-inch rig because it's heavier. So yeah, that's a really interesting build. That build would probably fly really good. It wouldn't be as fast as a 5-inch rig, so it wouldn't hammer the DJI camera as hard when you crashed it. So maybe that would help. Maybe the damn thing is indestructible. I doubt it, but maybe it is. One of the interesting things about them not putting an SD card slot in it is that the whole case is enclosed. So that could make it really a lot more durable than even the Session. One of the place that the Session fails more often than not on me is where the ports are. There's the USB port, and then there's the charging port inside the door, and it tends to crack when I hit them really hard. They parallelogram, and it tends to crack right in there. So if it didn't have that door, if it was just one big solid chunk of like aluminum, I think is what DJI used, maybe it would be totally indestructible. Or maybe inside the DJI there's a board that's going to blow up as soon as you crash it the first time. I doubt it, but we just don't know. I'm not going to be a guinea pig on the durability of this damn thing. I feel like I'm already doing that with the Insta360 Go 2. So yeah, I'll let some of these other freestyle pilots guinea pig the durability of this damn thing. But if it proves to be durable, I'm probably in. I'll probably go in on one and see what we can do with a 4-inch build. Also, I mean, Christ, the fucking thing will do 4K 120 frames that would be ridiculous on a Cinewhoop, and it would shave like 100 grams off of a Cinewhoop. That could be like incredible stuff. We'll see. It's really exciting though. That thing is as long as it's durable. If it's fragile, it's kind of like, but can still get it from Best Buy. And you know, all the GoPro Heroes are very fragile, and most pro freestyle pilots fly those and just bring them back over and over and over again. So, Mr. Huggy says you should try those GemFan 3.5 5-blade props on your 250. So those 5-blade props are just like these. They're bullnose is what we used to call this style prop. They're specifically designed to be in ducts. And what I mean by that is they haven't done anything to manage the tip vortices. So when each blade comes around, or an airplane wing, the end of the blade generates a little vortex because the blade is creating lift, but then outside of the blade there is no lift. So the air comes off and it does this off the end of the blade. So with Cinewhoop specific blades, right, they flatten the end out, which makes that situation really bad unless you've got a physical piece of plastic, so that on the outside of the blade where it wants to have this vortice, you've got a blocker. You've got a piece of plastic here, so you don't really get much of that tip vortice. Those 3.5-inch 5-blades are exactly like that. So in prop guards or in ducts, they're going to perform okay. If I was to put them on the 250 where there's no duct here, they would just be very inefficient. They would be a very inefficient propeller. Also, they're actually a little too heavy for a 2004 motor, which is what I have on the 250. They would actually run better on an FPV cycle 2204, or a 2205, or even a 2005. So they would not really fly all. It would be funny to put it on the 250, but it wouldn't fly all that well. That's a good. Thanks for letting me talk about that, Mr. Huggy. Because yeah, not many people talk about that shit. Lit Sculpture says, what is the advantage of the Cinesplore over other whoops? The biggest advantage, Lit Sculpture, to be totally honest, is that Bob Rugi, Kebab of FPV Cycle, waited until a whole bunch of the other Cinewhoops had come out. He flew them to see what sucked about them, and then he made this. So that's really the main thing. He just took all of the knowledge we gained from that first generation, the first 6 months of living with and flying Cinewhoops, and put them into this. This frame is lighter. Some of the specific benefits: the frame is lighter. It's got removable arms. The way that the ducts mount is just better. They're easier to remove. There's a lot of parts available for this. It's set up to hold a 20x20 stack. It's 20x20 ESC and 20x20 flight controller, which flies miles better than any AIO ever will. It's got another set of 20x20 standoffs in the rear for either DJI, or there's plenty of room for VTX, receiver, all that good stuff. Those are the big things. Those are the main things that make this better. Cumulatively, they all add up to a Cinewhoop that every single person I have ever talked to that has flown this and any other Cinewhoop, every single one of those people are like, yeah, this flies way better. It's just wild. It really is. And, you know, some of those guys have been flying squirts for a long time and have like the slam squirt and all different ducts and all kinds of stuff, and they come back to this and they're like, yeah, this blows it out of the water. It's also like half the cost, I think, of a squirt frame, because Bob sells all of his stuff pretty much at cost on the website. So yeah, the Cinesplore just demolishes all the other Cinewhoops. in my experience, which is just wild. But it makes sense, right? Because, yeah, I mean, when you let everybody else come out with their stuff and then you fly it and see how it is, you learn a lot, and then you can fix all those issues. June Loco says, what's your opinion on GetFPV Beta FPV 95X for $99? I know that the 85X really struggles, but apparently the 95X should be a lot better. $99 is damn cheap. I would probably jump on that. Lit Sculpture says, glad the mounts work. Thank you, brother. Yeah, very, very cool of you. I can't wait to get these Ripsqueak mounts onto. I'm actually building a Ripsqueak specifically for these mounts, which is going to be pretty rad. So thanks again, brother. Very, very cool. Hey, I forgot to keep the mailbag going. End of mailbag. This is a box from Pyro Drone. I got a big boy charger, motherfucker. I got a charger that's as big as my dick. Look at this thing. IDST P30. This fucking thing, it's a 2-channel charger. This goddamn thing will do 30 amps per channel. That shit's crazy. This was on like super duper sale in the clearance section of Pyro Drone. It was still kind of expensive, but I realized that my Toolkit M2 dual charger would be really nice to be in my flight bag, to be able to charge 2 Cinewoop batteries at a time, or 1 Cinewoop battery, 1 5-inch battery. So I treated myself, and I got this guy. It's also going to be really nice to be able to crank. I already did it the other night. I put 5 of my 5-inch batteries on here, and I cranked it up to 15 amps, and it just like mashed through them, which was really, really cool. The Toolkit M2 would max out at like 9 amps, I think, per channel. Being able to go up to 15 was pretty awesome. In the future, I can even ramp it up to like 20, or put more than 5 batteries on. So, yeah, it was nice to buy myself something not as extravagant, but, you know, something that'll make my life a little bit easier. This is frustrating. This is a letter. This is an envelope that I assume one of you guys sent me. Maybe. I don't know. The return address got ripped off. So if one of you guys sent this to me, tell me what it was. I'm curious as to what the hell it was. Come on, USPS. How you gonna do me like that? I got some 2-inch 5 blades because I didn't have them. I've had the 2-inch 4 blades, but I prefer the 5 blades. I'm gonna actually test these on the Beta 85X. I got a camera for the giveaways. I need to re-up on my giveaway stuff. I got some of these Axis. I'm gonna play around with 4.9-inch props. I decided today for sure I'm gonna drop down from 5.1-inch props, and I'm gonna really give 3.9-inch props, 4.9-inch props a shot for a little bit less float. My freestyle rigs are very lightweight at 605 grams. Going up to a 5.1-inch propeller has gotten me all this float, and I just don't want. I don't want that much float. So yeah, Axis has a 49-43.5, and I got a couple sets of these guys to try, just to kind of see. Pyrodrone's been sending these air fresheners, which is pretty interesting. I've been putting them in giveaways. Pyrodrone sells replacement F40 Pro 4 bells, which is amazing. I pick up one of those per order. I got a Vifly short saver for the giveaways. I got a Vifly smart discharger, 2 of them actually, 2 XT30 smart dischargers. These are really nice. They're tiny little dischargers that automatically figure out what voltage the battery is, and they discharge it to 3.8 per cell regardless if it's a 6S, 5S, 4S, 3S, 2S. So these are great. These are going in the $10 a month micro brushless and Cinewoop giveaways. Got a set of the Emax Avan 3.5-inch props to just kind of play around with. Just going to play around with those on the 250, but I don't know. There'll be another 3.5-inch rig coming soon. Mark my words. And then these are the 90mm, the 3.5-inch props that are on that GepRC rig that is going to Joshua. So this is going to go in the box to Joshua. And that, my friends, is the end of Mailbag for Sunday, October 31st. Halloween! Anybody know that quote? Halloween! I'll be pretty impressed if you guys can get that one. It's all about the delivery. It's not about the word. Halloween! It's from a show. I'll give you that. It's from a show. Somebody might know it. Somebody might know it. Those are all the things. I also got a TBS version 2 GPS. Stan wrote me a note. That was cool of him. And, oh, yeah, here's these. And I did pick up another Acon ESC. Which is probably going to make its way into one of these Cinesplores. Cool. So yeah. Many things. Much mailbag, many mail bags. Or just two. FPV Trucker says it's 250. Yeah, I switch back and forth. I'm so white that I can't always say 250. I have to say 250 sometimes. I don't know. Mackenzie Stoll says Kebab FPV talks briefly about AIO and interference problems in his video on the iFlight Beast AIO. I thought I remember him talking about that shit at some point. Lit Sculpture says I've burned out 2 iFlight Beast F7 AIOs on the 250, wondering what else would work well on the frame. Yeah, that was so. Bob and I have been friends for a long time. Talking to him recently, a couple months ago, he was telling me that the iFlight Beasts were starting to let go on a lot of people, and that he didn't know. He didn't know of any other, like, that was the one AIO that was supposed to be the end-all be-all and was going to be, oh, hey, AIOs finally work. And he's like, well, fuck, now what? So, I don't know. I really don't. I shit on the AIOs all the time in hopes that I can convince as many people as possible to not go that route. Because I and many of you guys have had horrible experiences with them, and I have had nothing but great experiences with 20x20 stacks. But there are certain frames, like the 250, that you really have to run an AIO in that frame. Technically, the frame will hold a 20x20 stack, but the front arms are not removable, and that's a deal breaker. So, I don't know. I really don't. I do not know what direction to go. Other than, I guess I just go back to where I was before, where I don't fly or buy frames that don't work well with 20x20 stacks. Because I'm not doing this $100 AIO bullshit and then having it blow up. That's absolute nonsense. Robert says, is the common ground plane on AIOs that potentially causes noise to telegraph into the flight controller from motor FET switching separate? Or no, that was the end of that sentence. And the next sentence is, separate boards with a ground wire between them isolates noise. Right, Robert. So that is one of the big reasons that a 20x20 stack is going to fly better, because the ESC is a whole separate board, and it's got all the bullshit on it that makes nasty electrical noise. But yeah, apparently the iFlight Beast they figured out how to do it. But yeah, even those are blowing up now. The noise problems and the lack of durability, that's what really kills it for me on the AIOs. Those two things are both deal breakers. Like, if I have one deal breaker, I'm like, nah, fuck that. But with AIOs, you've got two deal breakers. And I'm not down with that. I'm really not down with that. So, I don't know, man. I'm frustrated. But, I'll get I'll get another rig up in the air that's 280, maybe. I'm gonna have to buy a fucking micro Apex, aren't I? I'm gonna have to buy a micro Apex. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that just as a heads up, I'm pretty sure that the 250 is going to be a giveaway rig in the month of December. In the month of December, I'm going to try to kick the Patreon in the ass like I did in April, and I'm going to try to give away a whole bunch of full builds and hope that people stay on the Patreon. When I did this in April, a whole shitload of people joined for April, but they didn't join recurring. So I made like a couple $100 from a bunch of people joining, but then they all jumped off at the end of April, and I kind of got hosed because I gave away like $2-3 grand in builds. I'm gonna give it another shot, I think, in December and give away a bunch of full builds to try to kind of get it going, because I have not gotten booked on any gigs in 2 weeks right now. So I got to figure out a way to replace that income. So yeah, we'll see. But if you were thinking about joining the Patreon, now's a good time to join so that you don't miss out, because they are going to be Patreon only giveaways. What I think I might do is like go back to one giveaway a week for December, maybe every Monday. And what I think I'm going to do is, so like the 250, right? Instead of doing 4 giveaways, it's going to be one big giveaway. Because this is worth, way more than all 4 of the giveaways combined. So I think I'm going to do one big giveaway. And the way we'll do it is we'll spin the wheel. We'll spin the wheels just like we've always done, right? So spin the $5 a month wheel, spin the $10 a month wheel, spin the $20 a month wheel. Take those 3 people, and then we do the super chat giveaway to let more people in, and then we spin the wheel there. So now we've got 4 people. We put those 4 people on a wheel and we spin that wheel. That way it's like everything is fully randomized. Everybody has been entered the correct number of times, right? And then we've got one winner per week, and they win an entire rig. I think that's fair, right? I've put some thought into this, and I feel like that's the fairest way to do it, because yeah, everybody gets entered into all of the things. Tesh, I think that's how it's pronounced, says, have you seen bugs with Acon F7 on Betaflight 4.3 latest? I have, specifically pitch P and I, says pitch PI stuck at 0, and slider enable on filters does weird stuff running bidirectional D-Shot 600. I have not. And I've been running 4.3 on an Acon F7 for like months, and it's been totally fine. It's actually what's on the only rig up there right now, the cinematic rig. So yeah, I haven't had any of those problems, Tesh. That's interesting. Crazy. I would post that in the on Facebook. There's a Betaflight black box testing group, and that's where most of the devs hang out. I would post that in that group, see if anybody's got any feedback for you. Tesh says, on my 250, I had to go back to filter sliders. I had issues with full throttle vibrations with Tommy's filter settings on a Beast F7. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the AIOs are never going to fly great because of all the wires that are hooked up to them. Interesting that you couldn't even run. Tommy went pretty aggressive with the filters. I was actually pretty shocked at how aggressive he went on the filters, but interesting. Hey, Maggie's in the house. Oh, she was a while ago. God, I'm a half an hour behind. Yellow Captain says, are you running wires over the AIO? I remember a video of Joshua Bardwell where wires over the FC were causing issues. Technically, yes, but there's a big old gap. That's one of the things that I spent a bunch of time with, is making sure that those wires were fully clear of the flight controller. I guess technically I could go in and... No, I'm not spending any more time on that rig. I just can't. What I was about to say is technically I could go in and extend all of those wires and then run them under the AIO and then pop them up around the corner. But the amount of distance that I have between the wires and the AIO is plenty. That's not, I'm pretty sure that's not the issue. I don't know. I've also done that before. I've played that little game before with AIOs, and it hasn't helped anything. The main issue with motors on top of an AIO or a flight controller is that if you've got your PCB and then you've got like your wire bundle right on top of it, the wire bundle can like bounce into it, or there can be like a little bit of electrical noise in that wire bundle that if it's like running right over top of the gyro, for example, it can be like, you know, the electrical noise can be having a little fucking party. But if you just put a little bit of an air gap in there, it fixes those problems. Typically, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not happy, though. Ribby Tim says, I personally think the DJI Action is perfect for FPV freestyle, but it seems like it's priced for something you could use for professional shoots, but the dynamic range looked awful, in my honest opinion. Yeah, it's not... It's way better than the... Well, I don't know if way better, but it's better than the Session 5, but it's nothing like a Hero 10. So... But on a 4-inch rig, like, I don't know. I'll say this. I would be a little bit worried using it on a professional shoot where it's going to get mixed with an ARRI or a Red or a Z-Cam or like a really... If it was going to be mixed with DSLR footage, I think it would be fine. But if it's going to get used with proper footage that most people that are you know, that are doing this kind of stuff are using nowadays, I don't think it's going to be quite good enough. I think of it more as a freestyle camera. I don't really think it's going to be a camera that gets used in professional shoots. I think of it more as a freestyle camera, but it would be an interesting tool to have. Like, you know, if they wanted a really sketchy kind of shot, and you didn't feel comfortable doing that with a really heavy rig, could be an interesting option. You know, say to them like, hey, I can get this shot for you, but it's not going to be quite as good quality. And to be quite honest, like, what you're pointing the camera at and how you're moving the camera is way more important than the quality that comes out of the camera. Like, I could fly and edit an entire commercial on like a Hero 6 or a Hero 5 probably, and nobody would be the wiser, because I could send it down a building, I could send it up a cliff, I could send it down the fucking Alps, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it being on a, but again, in like a professional setting, usually you wouldn't really need something that it's really interesting, but the quality is definitely not there. But for freestyle, the quality is totally there, right? Like, so I really look at it as a freestyle specific kind of camera. I'm sure people will use it professionally, but I think people will use it professionally as like a meme almost. Like, you know, look what I can do kind of thing. I don't think it'll get used professionally, like, or to jump on the bandwagon of the hype train, right? And be like, hey, I shot this professional gig with the DJI Action 2 for the next like couple of months. DJI Action 2 will get a lot of search volume on YouTube. So, but yeah, it doesn't look as good or have the adjustability as a Hero 10 or even an 8, in my opinion. Martin Wynn with a £5 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, best indoor flyer with close to 5-inch characteristics for winter. Learned so much in your Discord lately. Really understand. Thanks to lovely people. No such thing, Martin. Get the possibility of 5-inch flight characteristics out of your head. For anything inside. That being said, just get a Mobula 6 with the 25,000 kV motors. For flying inside, there's not really many options. In my experience, the best flying option is the Mobula 6 with the 25,000 kV motors is like $100, and it's going to fly like 98% as good as the $200 custom scratch-built Newbie drone 65mm motor whoop that I've got, which is on the Happy Model motors. The Happy Model 0802 25,000 kV motors are everything. You can build the shittiest Cinewhoop and put those motors on it, and it'll fly better than every other Cinewhoop that's not on those motors. The biggest problem, I'm sorry, I keep saying Cinewhoops, I mean to say Tiny Whoops. The biggest problem with Tiny Whoops is a lack of horsepower. And like, if we took all of the problems with the flight characteristics of Tiny Whoops, and if all of those problems were this big, and we prioritize those problems, a lack of power would be all the way up here, and all those other problems would be all the way down here. Like, it's that bad. So those Happy Model or tinywhoop.com 0802 25,000, 26,000, 24,000 kV motors are everything. Like, buy those motors first and then build the rest of the Cinewhoop around them. Or just buy the Mobula 6 with those motors on it. That's what I would actually recommend. And then Newbie Drone Gold 250 mAh batteries are definitely the batteries that you want. Gamma Gonad says, I've flown every configuration of the Squirt before I got the Cinesplore, zero competition. Yeah, it's really nuts. Sanaka's up in here. He says, yeah, that rig flies well. Hell yeah. It just... And it's kind of crazy because, like, the Cinesplore is not that different from the Squirt. They look pretty similar. Like, if you had both of them sitting here and you looked at the two of them, there's no way you'd be like, yeah, this one flies way better. There's no fucking way. No way you would think that. No way. You'd be like, yeah, I don't know. They look like they fly about the same. Like, it's wild. Lit Sculpture says, are the ducts on your Cinesplore molded? It seems like most he sells are 3D printed. These ones are. On Stan's website, it's pretty obvious, but like he calls it out specifically if the ducts are 3D printed or if they're molded. These ones are molded. See-through. There's no TPU lines. Come on, OBS. Hold on, I gotta restart OBS. We're back. And we're back. Should resize this window. There we go. Yeah, here's what these ducts look like. Here's what these ducts look like. Nice and clean. You can see where the prop is kind of rubbing a little bit there in the corner. See that? But it just rubs itself right in. It's totally fine. It cleared up within like 30 seconds of flying it. But yeah, these ducts are great. I really dig them. Abraham says, I watched the Rotor Riot review, awesome cam, but with a couple major flaws. No SD, seriously? Yeah, it's scary. Things that wouldn't be deal breakers for half the price, but yeah, pass for now. V3 is promising. Yeah, it's true. I wonder what they'll do on the third version. Hopefully it's not any heavier. Though, man, 56 grams or 58 grams, whatever the hell it is, that's a great weight. Dan636's comment just whipped off the top of the screen because YouTube did the thing. Trying to find it. There it is. Would the FPV Cycle 21mm motor be a good choice for 3.5 to 4-inch prop on micro reverb? Absolutely, Dan. Oh wait, 21 mil. 21. What's his 21 mil motor? Hold on. Oh, you know what? Chrome's not gonna let me get to his website, is it? Fuck you, Chrome, you piece of shit bastard. Hold on. Don't try to troubleshoot that problem for me. Everybody's wasted their time already doing it. Okay, 21 mil. Which one is that? I think the 16 mil would actually be a better choice, to be honest with you. But let me look at what the 21 mil motor's stator height is. 2104. Okay. So his 21 millimeter motor would be a better choice for the 4-inch prop, and then the 16 millimeter motor would be a better choice for the 3.5-inch prop, because this is a 1605, right? Yeah. So the FPV Cycle 1605 would be what I would go for a 3.5-inch prop, or the X Nova 1804. These X Nova 1804s in 3500 kV are wild on a 3.5-inch prop. Oh my god, it's so good. These 16 mils, these 1605s would probably be just as good. 1605 is a little bit more stator volume than 1804, but not much. So yeah, that'd be a really good mix for the 3.5-inch. And then yeah, the FPV Cycle 2104 would be really good on a 4-inch prop. Just be aware that the 2104 uses this new 3mm threaded shaft setup. So you can't do a T-mount prop, but you can do an M5 prop because they give you this little adapter here. So yeah, not a big deal because of the adapter, but still a deal. Something to remember. Metal Dirtskin says, I'd be curious how that Axis prop compares to the T-Motor 4943. I'll bet you they're damn near the same, considering the situation with those two companies. Yeah, I can almost guarantee you that I won't be able to feel a difference in the air. Gamma Gonad says, I'm still running the original batch of the Beast AIO. You know how it goes. Didn't pay $120+. Yeah, so what may have happened, there's been a lot of talk about this recently in FPV. What may have happened is that Brian is running the original batch of the Beast AIO, and the first batches of a lot of FPV stuff lately over the last year or two has been really good. And then the next batch, and the next batch, and the next batch, and the next batch are all garbage. So that might be what's happening with the Beast AIO, right? Like, if you're a manufacturer, and if you're making FPV parts, right? And FPV is like ultra super fucking hype train, right? Like every single time something new comes out, everybody fucking buys it all at once, and then everybody talks about it all over the place, right? If you were a manufacturer and that was the situation when you sold the product, it would make an awful lot of sense to like throw extra quality control at the first run and maybe lose money or break even on the first run, and then on the next run make them garbage and make some actual money so that you can break even at least, or maybe make a couple bucks. You know what I'm saying? And then a couple of months go by, the tech changes again, and you don't even have to worry about it because it's like, oh yeah, that product sucked, but here's the new one. First run's gonna be great. And then the second run, and then we go through this whole. So I don't know if that's actually what's happening, but it certainly fucking seems like it lately. So maybe that's what's going on. Alley-oop says, send me the 250 and I'll send you an Apex. Only if it's a fully built Apex, Alley-oop. Metal Dirtson says, maybe the QAVS 4-inch with the 3.5 props on it. Mine is a little over 250, but could have been built lighter. My problem with the QAVS Mini with the 4-inch arms is that that's a long-range rig. That's not really a freestyle rig, because it's dead cat and because the rear arms are so long. So, I mean, yeah, that would absolutely carry the Action 2, but I don't know. For me, if I'm gonna build another a 4-inch rig, I already built a QAVS Mini 4-inch. I'm gonna go to the Micro Apex this time, because it's not dead cat, it's squished X. The rear arms are not like super long and potentially a little bit less durable, and also it's using 4mm thick arms, which if we're gonna build a 4-inch rig at 400 grams, I'm gonna want 4mm thick arms. June Loco says, I'm loving the steel 5-inch from Banggood, only $30. Oh boy, is that an Apex? I guess that's an Apex clone. $30, Jesus. Gamma Gonad says, screw 250. I just go as light as possible with power, with maybe as much power without causing heavy arm issues. Yeah, I agree. You know, being in the U.S., we don't have to pay much attention to the 250 thing. I'm sort of the same mind. But I mean, that's one of the cool things about the Rip Squeaks, actually, and one of the reasons that I keep kind of going back to them is like, yeah, they don't fly quite as good as a 3.5-inch rig that's a little bit heavier, but man, they fly pretty fucking good, and you can very easily get them under 250. Mine are all under 250. So it's yeah. I mean, you can also put a 3.5-inch prop on the damn things as long as you have the right TPU. So we'll explore that more in the future, though. Greg Womack says, would the Cinesplore outperform Acrobrat with ducts? Yes. You can. The Cinesplore has a bigger battery tray area, so you can run a bigger battery on it. And the way that the ducts mount is much stronger than an Acrobrat. An Acrobrat, the only way to mount ducts is to mount them on the motor screws, just like the Shendrone's Terraplane. This is one of the reasons I really don't like the Terraplane. Yeah, a duct that mounts like this, one mounting point here and two in here, is always going to be way more durable than having a duct that only mounts from the motor pads themselves. Other than that, they'd be pretty similar. But yeah, Cinesplore is definitely going to outperform an Acrobrat on ducts for sure. Mr. Huggy says, I think the thing with the Action 2 is people think of it being a GoPro when in fact it's an Insta360 Go 2 with the modular tricks of the Insta360R. It's an interesting way of thinking about it. I think of it as a session. It's definitely not a GoPro Hero. It's comparing it to a GoPro Hero is silly, but comparing it to a Session 5, I think is totally valid. I haven't seen that. Yet. That would be a really interesting comparison. I would love to do that comparison because I think it should be a little bit better, but it's going to be a lot less usable, and God knows if it's as durable. So that's what I consider it as. I consider it as a current gen Session 5, which works because the Session 5s are not the same quality. They're not the same, right? Like they have the same limitations, not the same, but similar limitations versus the Heroes. Quasimodo says, what's your all-up weight with those new ducts? That's a good question. I haven't actually checked that. Let's see. Let me go grab the... I'm going to go in my bag. Hold on. Oh, wait. No, I don't. 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 I just need to go right here and get the Hero 8. And then I need to grab the battery. Let's just grab this. This is a GNB 4S 850. So where are we at here? So we are at 491. 491.6. Let me swap this battery out. Hold on. Let me use one of the R-line batteries that I really like, because I think they're a little bit lighter. Might actually not be. I forget. Come on, get on there. Yeah, they are a little bit lighter. 488.8. 488, 489. 490 grams. It's 490 grams. So I think it might be a little heavier. These ducts are definitely a little sturdier. Like, you can just feel it than the cloud ducts. But what's interesting is the cloud ducts have been pretty durable. I have broken a few of them, but they have been pretty goddamn durable. So no complaints, durability-wise, on the cloud ducts. I wish there was a way to buy 5 of these ducts so that I could have an extra one to weigh. Well, fuck it. Let's weigh one of these. I'm really curious now. Probably says on the product page. Gamma Gonad says, last comment was referring to the 5-inch Tooth Fairy 2 with the 20mm talls, incredibly light, more powerful than most regular 5-inch rigs, 420 grams all up weight with Session 5, 4S 850, 465 with a 4S 1100. Nice. I built a 4-inch rig to carry a Session a while back, and it was like shockingly decent. It was with a prototype frame that Kebab sent me, and it was decent, but it was not. It just didn't have quite enough oompa loompa. And my biggest issue with it is that on the 4-inch prop, like, it didn't have the float. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think this DJI Action Cam is really the way forward for 4-inch. 11.4 grams versus versus 10.7. So they're a little over an extra gram heavier. These little guys probably nice and light. Yeah, look at that. No, Jesus, they're heavy. 11.3. 11.3 for this low profile one. So yeah, gram difference. A little bit less than a gram difference. That's good to know. That's pretty cool. Man, they're a lot more substantial. I mean, like, look at the thickness difference. You know what I mean? The cloud duct actually looks thicker because it's a flat edge there, but like, I think you can kind of see like this. The stand duct, like, it's a beefy bitch. It feels really good. It feels really strong. But yeah, again, I think that they're for different uses. So, but I do think that from a standpoint of like show up with one setup to do it all, I think these cloud ducts are just a little slow. They're a little too slow sometimes. Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to back-to-backing these once I get this Cinesplore done. Speaking of, I've been streaming for an hour and 40 minutes, and I haven't even touched the Cinesplore. Happy Halloween! I gotta get these things glued in here. Let me actually do that right now, because otherwise I will not remember. A little bit of welder just to hold this antenna tube in. What I should do is move this over to an Immortal T. But it's been absolutely fine with this little Immortal L setup that I've had. And like, I don't know. I'm really trying to stick with this whole if it ain't broke, don't fix it mantra. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it. Just gonna smush this around a little bit here. All right, that should be enough. Yeah, on the rear of the Cinesplore, I have one of those super lightweight non-Immortal T antennas that the Crossfire Nanos come with. And I have it set up in an L on a little piece of TPU in the back here. And it works fine. Like it technically speaking, it should have less range than the Immortal T, but it's always had plenty of range, and it's never fail-safed, and I've lost video long before, right? And like, so yeah, I don't know. It's been totally fine. It's out of the way. It's on there and it's working. And technically speaking, set up as an Immortal L like this, technically speaking, it should have a more omnidirectional coverage pattern than the Immortal T. The Immortal T has nulls on either end. So like, if I mounted the Immortal T on here like this, right, like we usually do, directly to the left and directly to the right, so, you know, like that, right, is a null. And like when you're flying a Cinewhoop, like there's a good chance that you're gonna fly by yourself like that, and if you're really far away, you know, that could lead to a failsafe. Whereas with this as an L, it's not gonna be as strong in this donut direction, but it's gonna be, it should be a better signal in the null direction of the Immortal T. Or not. It's RF is tough. Tesh says, thanks for the advice. You're certainly welcome. The issue on Acon F7 4.3 was the configurator. I had 4.8, went to 4.8 debug, and the sliders are there now. Very cool, Tesh. Remy Tim says, last night I finished a new build. Weight with a Hero 7 but no battery is 745. Ooh, that's a fatty. I don't think you've ever owned a quad that heavy with a battery. Guess the size. Probably a 7-inch would be my guess. My chase rig is pretty goddamn heavy though. You wagers with the Hero 7 but no battery? Here, let's see. Let's see what the fat boy chase rig weighs. I think it's up there. I think it's roughly that same amount, which is ridiculous because this is just a 5-inch rig. Where'd that Hero 8 go? So the chase rig, which is also kind of sort of my long range rig, but not really. Oh no, nowhere near it. 592. 592 with a Hero and no battery, but then I put a massive battery on there. So wait, then in that case, I have a feeling it's maybe an 8-inch, Dan. I think 8-inch would be my guess. 7-inch or 8-inch, but I think 8-inch would have to be my guess. Man, that's heavy. What'd you say, 745? 745 without a battery, my god. And then yeah, it's gonna get a big battery. Knowing you, it's probably gonna get a one of those batteries, you know, 18650 batteries or whatever the hell they are. Cody Essay says, man, the micro 4-inch Apex with FPV cycle 2204 3450 motors 4S is the best quad I've built. 20 by 20 Mamba stack. Yeah, 4-inch is an interesting size. It really is, especially when you don't carry a big ass camera around on it. Once you put a camera on 4-inch though, then it changes a little bit. But without a camera, my god, 4-inch rigs fucking rip. Glor FPV says, says, hey, I'll make you a lamp or something for a rip squeak. Yeah, let me know, Glor. I don't know if there's anything that I need at the moment. But when I need stuff, I usually just say on the live streams, like, hey, anybody want to print me something? So yeah, I'll hit you up next time I think of something. I appreciate that, brother. Double A says, what's up? Random FV says, where's the Green Man suit? It is buried in the closet, never to come out again. Fuck that suit. Metal Dirtskin says, what flight time would you get on a Cinesplore with a Hero 9 or 10? That's all I got for GoPro Heroes anymore. My guess would be maybe like 15 seconds less than what I get now. And right now I get a little over 5 minutes, although it depends on the shoot in Asheville, where I was covering a lot of ground. I was only getting a little over 3 minutes, actually. But, I mean, I was nose down charging the entire battery. So, yeah, I mean, it depends on flight style. But the Hero 9 or 10 versus a Hero 8, it's not that much of a weight difference. So, yeah, probably 15, maybe 20 seconds at the max different. If that, maybe even less. Aber the Ham says, check the live stream live channel on Discord. I did the same L configuration on a micro recently for weight. It is a little bit lighter. That is true. It is lighter for sure. I don't think both elements are active on the L config, though. Pretty sure it's a dipole with a ground. So you still have two nulls above and below the active element, the braided wire half. Yeah, correct, Aber. It's a the skinny part is a ground. And then the other part is a dipole. Quadzimoto says, the only thing with the stand ducts, they don't have the copper insert nut screwing into plastic I don't like. True, Quadzimoto, but the 3D printed ducts are now the same way. They don't have the brass insert. And Stan gives you nice long screws, and it seems to be really, really stable. So I'm actually fine with it going into the plastic, because it's a nice... There's a nice bit of engagement here. So I don't think that'll be a problem, to be honest with you. Ritim says it's 7-inch. Oh, nice. AOS 7-inch Falcon with 2806.5 zings. Nice. That'll be rad. I'm interested in those 2806.5 zings for a 5.5-inch propeller on the chase rig. Now that I have the 5.5-inch Cineglide dead cat arms for it. But I don't fly the damn thing, so I'm not going to spend any money on it at the moment. Abraham says, look at you all caught up. Yeah, it's true, man. Lithium ion, that's what I couldn't think of. Remy Tim is planning to run 8,000 mAh 6S lithium ion batteries. What cells? Are those I assume that's the bigger cell, Dan? I remember when we went to Rampage, there was the 18650 and then there was the 18651, maybe, I don't know. 450, and we're finally getting to work on the Cinesplore. For anybody that's new, get used to it. This is pretty much how it goes around here. You guys ask amazing questions. I prioritize those questions over any bench work that I need to do so that I can answer the questions in a more intelligent way. And then 10 minutes before the end of the stream, I get caught up and do a little bit of work, and then bye-bye. So let's get this ESC tinned up, because I can't think of anything else that absolutely needs to get done. I think on this build, I'm basically just putting the ESC in, making a new cable from the ESC to the flight controller, and that's about it. There's a chance that I'm going to change this VTX, but probably not. No, you know what? I'm going to leave this VTX. On the other Cinesplore, I am going to swap the VTX out. But on this one, I'm going to leave it. So yeah, this is just a straight ESC swap. And this is kind of like preventative maintenance. The ESC that was in this was not as good. And oh wait, no, this is the shit. Is this the rig with the I think I was gonna switch the flight controller because I was thinking that there was a bad gyro on this flight controller. Well, you know what? It's actually easy. It could have been a problem with the ESC. I doubt it, but I'm just gonna do the ESC swap, and then I'll see if I'll see if that fixed the issue. If it didn't fix the issue, I'll swap the flight controller, and I'll probably swap the VTX at the same time because I'll have to desolder it anyway. But for right now, this will actually be an interesting little experiment in whether or not swapping this ESC out actually helps anything. It shouldn't. This more than likely, this rig is going to have to come back apart. I'm pretty sure that the gyro on the flight controller is fucked on the roll axis. But it's really not much extra work to do this in 2 phases. So we're going to do this in 2 phases. Because hopefully I can save myself some time by doing it this way. Because hopefully this fixes the issue. That's a brand new flight controller, and I have really not had many, if any, problems with the gyros on these Talon flight controllers, which is what this rig has. It's got a Talon F7 in it. I've only really had issues with gyros right out of the box on some cheaper flight controllers. Like when I buy the cheapest flight controllers available, sometimes I'll have gyro issues right out of the box. Alright. We are getting tinned here. And good to go. Alright, cool. So we are tinned up on this beautiful little Ori 32 4-in-1. Hopefully this thing is good. I mean, Cinewoop is not really going to stress the flight control or the ESC out much, if at all. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not putting the heat sink on this because, again, it's a Cinewoop and it's just not. It really shouldn't need it. What I do need to figure out, though, is a mounting setup. It's still hot. Well, let me do this. There's a chance I could actually mount it as is. Abraham says you gotta spell it. Oh, Josh Robinson. Josh Robinson, yeah, just take the space out between Ciotti and FPV and then it'll light up an orange for me. Just got a GoPro 9. Will be my first time flying with a camera. All my quads are tuned pretty well. Will I probably have to retune? I mean, you don't have to, but what's going to happen is you're going to add a whole bunch of weight to the pitch axis. So the pitch axis is more than likely going to develop some bounce back and some just general, like, it's just not going to be as sharp. The pitch axis isn't going to be as sharp because there's going to be a bunch more weight on that axis. So you won't have to retune, but it'll definitely help to retune. What I would do is just push another 10 points of P gain and D gain, or D max, and then 5 points of D min on just the pitch axis. And that'll probably take care of most of the tuning changes that you need to do. So I would maybe just do that. Man, this ESC like just barely doesn't quite fit. Fuck. Oh man, it's so close. So my other option is to run the power lead out the front. And I really don't love to do that. But if I have to do it, I will. So the holes in this Ori 32 ESC are M3 holes, which is also kind of interesting. I might not put this ESC in here. Where is that? Here it is. Here's the Acon AK32 that I was gonna put in the, I was gonna actually have this, just save this as an extra ESC, but maybe it goes in here. Oh, it'll fit. Yeah, it'll fit. Yeah, I think this is gonna go in here. I think we're gonna be putting this on in there. Yeah. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to run this forward. Here's the, well, maybe it does. If that wire was coming off the front like that. Let me see something here. One of the things I'm trying to do is shorten up the, is keep the battery lead as short as possible because it is heavy. And one of the issues that I run into, one of the only problems that I have with the Cinesplore is when I run these batteries back really far to try to fix the CG from having the heavy-ass camera up far forward, these new 4S850 packs the battery lead can be a little too short and it won't quite reach here. So then the alternative is to run it with the lead forward, then I can sneak it back as far as I want. But then the problem becomes, let's take a look at this. The problem potentially becomes that the battery straps won't hold the battery all that well. So like, for example, right, when you start to mount the battery really far back, no, that's not going to be a problem though. This front strap will hit right here. Sometimes if the front strap hits the battery up here, it wants to like slide forward, but this ain't the case. So that's interesting. In that case, maybe I specifically will run this Ori ESC because it'll kind of force me to run the leads off the front. I kind of like the idea of running the leads off the front. I typically avoid it because I don't want to have the leads so close to the camera because the battery leads have a lot of disgusting electrical noise in them. But I like the idea of, let me strap it down and make sure it's still easily sort of pluggable. So once this is strapped, oh yeah, see that's kind of nice. And then I can just sort of tuck out of the way like that. And then, yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna run this little Ori. I think it's Ori time. And I'll just put those leads forward. That's kind of cool. I like that because the little battery situation was one of the only things that I wasn't like 100% happy with on my Cinesplore builds. And this absolutely helps with that, which is really cool. So let's do that. We're gonna run the Ori with the battery leads facing forward. What else do they give us in? Oh wait, no, this is the AK32 one. That alarm means that it's 5 o'clock, and I am gonna wrap this motherfucker up because I'm excited to go over to Maggie's and do Halloween things. I love you guys and all, but I love her more. So you know, suck it, Trebek. Just kidding. I still love you guys the most. Oh, that camera's on. Oh, boy. Let me get caught up on chat, and then I will wrap this up. Next time we'll do Cinesplore work. Hey, what did we talk about most on the stream here? Let me change the stream title. I'm gonna take Cinesplore out of this. What did we talk about? I'm trying to make the titles of these as descriptive as possible. Hit me with that in the chat while I get caught up here. Abraham says we got that. Mackenzie says I gain way more knowledge from doing less work I gain way more knowledge from you doing less work and more talking. Yeah, that's yeah. Ruby Tim tagged me 6S 2P, meaning 12 cells, and they are 21700. Very cool. 6S 2P, neat. 2P or not 2P? Vern Kelk says, do you think rigs can be cursed? Oh, no matter what comes after this is just pain. The QAVS Mini I won is, I think, flight controller is dead now. Had new motor broke from the damn frame. Now flight control is dead. For fuck's sake. I want to say yes to that, Vern, but I'm a man of science, so no, they're not cursed. This fucking hobby is what's cursed, Vern. Like, FPV is cursed. All of FPV is cursed. The lack of quality control, the lack of the lack of just controls being in place from the manufacturers. That's the type of shit that's the problem. That's the curse. And just, yeah, there's just too many things that can go wrong. There's too many different people trying to improve situations, and when you've got some kind of a standard, and then one company tries to improve the standard and another company improves the standard, and then those two things don't fucking work together because both of these assholes tried to improve on the standard when they should have just fucking conformed to the goddamn standard. That is the curse. So yeah, FPV is cursed, not your build. June Logo says, have you seen the new Jumper Tango 2 radio? Looks pretty cool. I have not, but I did just pick up a second QX7 so that I have a backup. So I now have a backup set of goggles and I have a backup transmitter. I have a backup Crossfire micro module. And yeah, I think I pretty much have... I think I'm pretty much covered. I think no matter what... Man, this is dumb to say out loud, but I think no matter what fails on me at this point, I have in this room a spare, which is awesome. That's really important for working on movies, films, music videos, whatever, because those are scenarios where, they book 20, 30, 40 people to be in a location at a time, ready to go. And, my goggles failing me can fuck that whole thing up if there's a really important FPV shot, right? So that's a really good way to kind of get blacklisted, is to, I'll be there at 2 o'clock, great. And then you can't get it. You can't get the shot. You can't get the whatever. So it's really important to have... 2 of everything, basically. Gamma Gonad says I run 2200 to 2600 6S 7-inch Cineglide 30mm motors that flies damn near like a 5-inch, but much faster, weighing 1,150 grams. Holy hell! With a Hero 8, I own 3 other 7-inch quads which do not compare. Damn, that's nuts. On 30mm motors, huh? So 30. What are they? 3008s, maybe? I forget what those big ass 30mm motors are rather. Abraham says, interesting. I guess in my mind, I'm more worried about the battery wires messing with the VTX wires / antenna than the camera wire. I wonder which matters more. Maybe I'll find out. Martin Wynn says, love you more than more. Thanks, Martin. Well, Dirtskin says there was a lot of Cinewhoop, Cinesplore. Oh yeah, build chat, all good stuff. Oh yeah, well I get okay, so we'll FPV cycle Cinesplore chat. Duct. We talked about Duct. Duct chat and ESC prep, not install. We'll say ESC prep. Ooh, good one. Good. HD cams and stuff. Abraham said. Oh, yeah. DJI Action 2. Oh God. Well, I don't know how. There we go. Action 2 talk. Thoughts. Yeah, there we go. Getting down that fucking clickbait game. And that's all the characters that I have, so we're going to leave it there, I think. I think I got everybody, though. HD cams and stuff. Rep, whoop, ducks. Okay, cool. Talked about the... Oh, the Cinelog. Shit, Cinelog. Good call. Dan, how can I... I'm going to take Happy Halloween out of the title. That has no SEO value. DJI Action 2 thoughts dash... no, we gotta get GepRC. GepRC Cinelog 35. I don't have any extra characters, so I'll just leave it there. Awesome. Thank you, guys. That is... I gotta start doing that on every stream. That's important. Mackenzie says make the name something about AIOs and them sucking. I have so many live streams bashing on AIOs, I don't even need to. Remy Tim says, oh, you poor man, you say I have a spare of everything, your house is going to burn down now. No. Please, no. Richard says, whoop duck, Cinesplore, fuck AIOs, lol. Thanks for hanging, people. I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. We will do tomorrow night. We're gonna finish this for sure. It's gonna be Micro Monday. This is considered a Monday. 3106. Gamma Gonad says, "Wow, 3106. I would think that's a little small for 7-inch. I would think you'd want like a 3108, 3109, 3110. No shit. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern. Here's some more flying from today. Enjoy. I'm gonna get some epidemic sounds going, and I'm gonna get my shit packed and get the hell out of here. Hey, I'm gonna start setting up a little streaming setup at Maggie's house, so you guys might get to in her spare bedroom. So you guys might get to see a remote stream. They'll probably just be editing streams, but yeah, cool things coming. That's what she said. Literally. Later! Love you guys.